Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dance of the Soul. It's a gift for anybody and everyone to be here, and we're grateful for that. And today we have a guest, and it's Kate, and she has, from Regan's point of view, who is on his cell phone, so he's trying to manage. Regan Forsten, who is a hypnotherapist through the Nuton Institute, and I am Natasha Venter, an intuitive medium, personal awareness coach, and we together come together wanting to help everyone come through life. Well, Regan is here this week. He wasn't here last week because of, the COVID's going around, but sometimes we just get into other health issues. And Regan wonderfully had to take care of his body, which he got an infection. And so with that, he's getting better. So if he goes chirp, 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 cough, 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 does a little dance or so, just please ignore him. He's, obviously we're not in the same room, so nothing's contagious. We'll just honor him, and we're going to ask for healing to come to his body that needs to be healed. And the angels can help with that. And I know they help with me when I get into those moments. And I've been asking them to help you.
Thank you.
So with that we all have these dances. So, I know that he's going to want to talk, but yet he's going to have to manage not irritating his throat too much. So blessings to you, Regan, with everything. And, you were just talking about something, and I don't know if we talked about this on the air, about you wanting to get certain things in your life. And then I gave you some insight. Well, those insights have come forth, and I'm grateful that it's not to pat myself on the back, but I just want people to know that when we're in these crossroads in what we're going through, that a lot of times it's that keeping the inspiration, because I know that Patty, right? You're a Patty. She is a wonderful manifester.
Extremely so.
When you manifest, you got to remember, please. And I'm saying the word gotta. And yes, I say that word a lot, but it's you. And I'm going to say this is almost a have to. It's that whatever you're thinking can be manifested. So I know for me that I just went through some troublesome times. They're personal. I'm not going to really go there, but I had to create my own. Wait a minute, going down the rabbit hole. Stop. I actually said those words. I'm going down the rabbit hole. Stop. I'm asking for healing on this. I want things to be healed. I want things to work out for the better. Let this turmoil go to its greater good for all healing to happen. And even I have to even stop myself from going down the rabbit hole. And so with that these things that are happening, how's the van coming, by the way?
Oh, see, this is awesome. I mean, it's like Patty and I are both going through the same thing, but different. She had wanted to manifest the vacation home for us, and I'd always wanted to have like a travel van, and both of them happened just as you said they would. That's what I think so cool about intuitives sometimes, and the skills that you have is that there's all the generalities of spirit and all that kind of stuff, but sometimes the ability to see things that are here in the physical here and now, that are practical things that you need in your life to kind of help you with your life's mission, to help you have the good kind of life, that that you have that ability too. So the van today, it's going to be a good one, but I'd had to bite the bullet on a few things. Like for those of you listening, off the air, I told Natasha that I was frustrated because I've been looking all over the U.S. for a van that would be a good one. I could get at a good price. That would just be the bare van, and I could take it and then turn it into a travel van. It's like a year-long project for a lot of people because there's so much to do. But I thought it'd give me something to do and be good. So I exhausted everything. I was about to give up, and then Natasha kind of looks up for a minute and she says, does Nevada, and that's what's so cool, does Nevada and like Arizona, do they like touch or meet or something? I said, yeah. And she says, I see something around there. So I went back on the internet, and boom, lo and behold, there was this, it was an old FedEx van that was in this yard. I needed a new engine and stuff. but the body was good and and everything else. So I ended up making a deal. Well, long story short, I got a really good deal on a engine. Found a place there, had it towed to, really good place. They got it in, but it had starting issues, which I knew it had ahead of time too. But because it's a Mercedes van, if you need a key to it, any keying to it, if it's not working right, you got to go to a licensed Mercedes dealer. So I had to have it towed. Cost me almost $500 to have it towed yesterday, all the way from close to Sedona to Phoenix. And the place there got it today, and they said they're going to take a look at it. And Mercedes is so fussy that if it needs a new key, anything to do with that, I have to be there personally. They have to look at me, look at my driver's license, look at the registration, make sure I'm the exact owner in person, and then they have to order it, which takes 3 or 4 days to get. So I've got some hoops to go through, but it's okay. It's going to work out. You know, it's going to work out, and I'm sure. You know.
It
So
is. And this is the one thing that I forgot at the very beginning of this whole journey. And I mentioned it the last time, not last week, but the week before, is that remember, if you can, that when we get new things, we have to be worthy of getting something at its prime optimum ability.
yeah.
And that is the one thing that I think that quietly, Regan, you struggle with is having things that work well for you.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it's like you've had this pattern of that, you know, yes, you're worthy of having great things. It's not about that. It's that part of you that says, am I really worthy to have a van that works really well? Or do I always need to fix it? And
Yeah.
many of us struggle with that. Well, when you're getting something worked on at the very beginning and we don't have that worthiness or that, oh, I do deserve a damn
Yeah.
good van.
Well,
You know,
yeah.
and
Well,
so
I'm
at the
hoping now.
beginning,
I purposely wanted one that didn't that needed an engine, you know, because that way I could start from scratch, and it's all, you know, because these engines go like 500,000 miles. These
I know.
diesel engines, they
Yes, they
go, they
do.
go, and they go, and this will get twice the gas mileage that the Dodge van that I have now gets. So it'll we'll see. But I'm going to take take your word on that. And talking about manifesting today, Matt, when we talk about that, it's like I know when you manifest, you have to be careful. Again, you can be careful what you wish for, because you can manifest everything. Like I saw something on the internet the other day, and a guy says, "Well, I gotta move from this place. I'm gonna move to a whole new city, because in this place all we have is thieves and you know, a bunch of, you know, loose women running around and people stealing from me and everything like that. I'm gonna go, you know, I'm gonna go to someplace else." And then the teacher or the guru or something said, well, he got to the other place and said, well, how's things going? And he goes, well, there's everybody's stealing from me, and robbers and everything. It's your state of mind and what you attract, you know.
Exactly.
So if you everything is bad here, what do you think is going to be somewhere else? You know, you're going to be running into the same thing by that.
It is that manifesting thing, though, and it's sneaky. It's so sneaky. Even I, being the person I am, I have to be careful of that manifestation and the thinking and what am I pulling towards me?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, people do that in relationships even, you know, they think about, you know, I want to have this man that takes care of me, you know, and they get in a relationship and the guy's so controlling and so everything. Of course, he's taking care of them fine, you know, but, you know, they're having a horrible time in the relationship, you know. So we always have to, I found a way that I do sometimes I forget. And that's a friend of mine was looking for a house, and you know, so they put it out. They wanted to he and his wife, very spiritual people, they wanted to manifest a house first that they could qualify for. Uh, you know, it would, you know, be within their price range, something they could qualify for, and close enough to their work and everything. And he went looking and looking for a while, just couldn't find anything. And then he got the aha thing. And he says, I want all those things, but what I want more than anything that I want to manifest is a place that when I open the front door, I go, I love my house, you know. And then a few days later, They came to this place. It was a little bit more than they thought they could afford. But he walks in, it had an atrium in the middle of the house. Like the house was around,
Yes.
an atrium. Like, so when you walk in, you see these beautiful plants in this atrium and everything. And as he walked in, he could just picture himself coming home and like, and they've been in that house about 15 years now and loved it,
Yes.
So that taught me something with that, so if you're looking for a mate, especially too, you can say, look, I might think if I was say a guy like me, I'd say, oh, I want somebody about this age and to look just like this and to be this, be open to this religion and everything. And to make it simple, you could just say, look, you know more than me, God, and I want to manifest the perfect person for me, whatever that is. But I'd love it to be that every time that I see this person, I go, oh, I love this person, and then let the color of hair and the age, the religion, and let that all fill in,
Yeah, exactly.
Because the main thing, that's what you want. You want to be in a relationship with someone that, every time you're around them, you just feel love, and that's what I feel with Patty. It's we're so neat being at that vacation home now. We had a view of Monterey over the bay, and we're up high enough, and we have a really, really, really good view of the ocean, and we can really hear. That's what we wanted. We wanted to be able, with the windows open, to just hear the ocean, And so we had the windows open last night and slept there. The breeze, and we could hear the waves.
I bet that was magical.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I know that for me, in manifesting, and I'm honest about this, with having my alcoholic husband, who, when I was done with having the alcoholic husband, I said things like, and I didn't name my husband. I said, I want a man in my life that loves himself. I want a man in my life who is in tune with the greater good for us. I want a man in my life that can be in balance with knowing that everything's not perfect, but it's going to work out to its greater good.
That's really
and
good.
So, I didn't put it in those like when I tell people to manifest their job they want, I want to walk into a building that lights up when I go in. I want to work in a place that people have smiles on their faces. It's not necessarily what you're doing, it's how does it feel, and then your abilities will match up with what those places are.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that it's tricky, and we don't always get what we want, but at the same time, though, it is working for a greater good in that balance. And Regan, I hope that this thing heals quickly for you, because I understand coughs. I've been prone to them myself, and
yeah.
Well,
now let me tell you about our guest that's coming up here today. I met Kate. She was the producer of the show that I was on last week, and the name of the show was called Curmudgeon Yours.
Curmudgeon Yours.
Curmudgeon. And Richard, they made a great team, because I would say Kate is a little more open to spiritual and to these kind of concepts that we talk about here. But Richard was open. He's kind of agnostic, between agnostic, atheist kind of thing. And so
perfect place, actually.
He was a great interviewer. I just had a ball on the show. They were both so nice. And we're going to do two shows, two like 25-minute segments, and then we're going to do some more later on. And after Kate gets off here too, she gets to know you. I think they're going to ask you on the show too, because
that's up to them.
It's up to them, of course.
I'd be grateful, but it's up to them.
Well, I know you'd make just a great guest, because so many people, that it needs to be so much education when it comes to what mediums are. I mean, as spiritual as I am and everything, as far as mediums and psychics and knowing the difference, and intuitives, I just put them all into one category. I didn't really know that. I know the difference, and I think it's time the world needs to understand that, because you and I are just tools, or we have a little bit more information than some, and we just want to help those to because when you have, look how, like my life, getting the van that I needed, and those are just things that I wanted to have, because they're going to help me with my life. They're going to help me. I'm going to actually turn into a therapy van too, so nice carpeting and a therapy chair and stuff. And so when I travel around, I can do therapy in it. And the vacation home, it wasn't just to have like to be rich and to have something like that. It's because of our relationship, and it gives us a chance to get away, to be by the ocean, to be by ourselves, and you know, it was to help improve the quality of our relationship instead of just having properties for money that you can't take with you when you go. You know, so it's time to start enjoying life. You know,
Exactly.
yeah. So Kate is. After we talked after the show, I got to know her a little bit, and I went, wow, what an interesting character. And she has some things that she's going through in her life now that I think she could use some clarity on. And I went, well, I know the person to help you. And I said, hey, do you want to be on the show? So we'll see what you know, what you can do for her.
Yes, I would be grateful. I would be grateful. I love, that's my purpose in life, is to be a support. And I wanted to add on that, you know, there is a lot of intuitives out there. There is a lot of people who do this kind of work. Integrity makes a difference in who we are. And that's a huge thing. So whoever you go check out, please check in with their integrity.
Yeah.
Because life is always a little interesting balance, and integrity, and why are they doing this? You know, even for you, you know, it's just a balance. It's just one of those things. And, you know, we're always trying to do our better, but not everybody's for the greater good. And that's where I love
Right.
to, that's my whole intention is, you know, if somebody challenges my integrity, that's almost a fight.
Yeah. No,
you know, I've had two really good friends who were in fights, and they knew that they could talk about each other with me, because they knew I wouldn't share what each other said, because it's like, not my,
well, on Quora, answering questions this week, I've sent you, I think, 3 different times. I put your information up there because they're all about mediums. Some says, how do I find a good one? They all seem to just be after taking my money and everything, you know. And I kind of said, well, you don't know until you know, it might cost you a little bit till you find a good one, you know. But I reinforced that there's really good, genuine mediums out there that are wonderful. I said, you know, police departments use them all the time. You know, they wouldn't, if mediums weren't for real, they wouldn't, you know, police departments wouldn't be wasting their time with them, but they do all the time, even though they don't say it publicly, but they do,
exactly.
You know. And I said Natasha's very affordable.
Well, thank you.
And very, yeah, just give her a shot. And I said, you know, you'll know right off, you know, how good she is. So, well,
that's a blessing. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
no,
thank you.
I love giving you referrals that way. So,
well, let's introduce Kate, because
yes,
she's been sitting here, and if you need to kind of take a moment, well, hello, Kate.
Hi. I have to take my glasses off, because if I don't, you won't be able to see my eyes. And without them, I don't have to get so nervous.
Exactly. No,
Regan, good to see you again. Natasha, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for allowing me on your platform tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. I'm going to be grabbing a couple stones here. I've been dealing with some vertigo, so I'm trying to get myself righted here. So I'm working with some stones. Thank you, Kate, for trusting to come on. This is a gift, and the wisdom that you can help us bring into this world just by sharing your story. I'm grateful. And like I said in the email, that if it's something that is private and you say, you know, I'll give you a salt and pepper of it, but I don't want to give you a full flavoring, this is your truth, because we are all navigating through something. And this is, you know, something that we don't always want everything out there.
Well, I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Kate, where are you from again?
I'm in Sarasota, Florida.
Florida, yeah, okay.
You know what? I'm going to be there during the holidays.
Well, you'll have to come by the studio. Maybe that'd be a good time to do your interview.
I'll be only there for a week visiting family.
That's okay. I only need 1 day.
So you're a little bit later there. It's what, almost 8 o'clock there?
Yep, about that.
Yeah, because my in-laws live in Sarasota, and my niece and nephew do. So.
Well, it's a beautiful city. I jokingly refer to it as Miami 2.0.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a beautiful city, though. It really is.
Well, good. Well, Regan said that he was having problems with the internet today. So
He was. I could tell that, and I felt so bad for him with his throat, but I can appreciate it. When you talk all day, that's what
yeah,
happens.
exactly. Well, we're up in the north. I'm up in the Northwest, Washington State, and
Awesome.
it's scarf time.
Yes, it is.
It's scarf time. So, my dear, Regan was saying that we would love to have you on, which I love how he has such a platform where he can say, just come on to a show. And it's a great aspect that he has. My world is a little bit more, with dealing with private clients, I don't necessarily have that ability where he's got
Right.
Cora and, the Nuton Institute to pull people from. And I'm so grateful for that. So with that, do you know who I am and what work I do?
Yes.
Okay. So with that you know that I am here. Oh, there he is. He's popping back on again.
Oh, good.
There you go. Hello again.
Hi, Regan.
Hey, sorry about that. I hit the chat. I saw there's a chat button, and I thought, oh, I wonder if that's I can see what people are chatting about, and then I hit the wrong button, and off I went. Oh, well.
It's okay.
All right, glad to have you back.
Proceed.
Yeah. Well, Mercury is still in the aspect of it's out of retrograde, but it's still in its shifting from the thinking we have to go backwards to thinking we have to go forwards, and it takes a little while to kind of get the wheel turning the other way.
Yeah, I think that's an understatement.
This whole year has been a Mercury in retrograde theme, and I'm afraid that next year might still have that little bit of a theme just because Mercury is going into retrograde right after the new year. And usually when it does that, it kind of has that flavoring of just, communication struggles, technology struggles, just those kinds of things. And it's been like, oh, really, please.
Oh, yeah.
So with that you are in the midst of some change, like a lot of us, and you're in the midst of doing a lot of scenarios with personal work, like a lot of us.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a way, what are some of your questions that you would like to ask, or is there a conversation you want to start up that we can maybe assist you with?
Well, I'm having a difficult time identifying who my spirit animal is supposed to be. And I think I know who it is, but I'm not 100% sure because there are times when there are other.
We can have more than one.
Okay.
We can have more than one. We can have more than two. We can have more than three. Wolf.
Okay.
Because a wolf came over your shoulder.
Over mine?
Yeah.
A wolf. That's interesting because I am an extreme dog lover.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're part of, he looks more like he's dark. He's that charcoal gray, shepherdish looking, but he's more charcoal gray.
Wow.
And he doesn't have a big ruffle. You know how some shepherds have that big ruffle? He doesn't. He's more sleeker, but he's very clean. His eyes are piercing.
I bet.
And so, and you also work a little bit with cougar, and Mouse wants to pop in.
A mouse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
So let me give you a perspective of all those. Okay. So wolf is about protection, loyalty, navigating in a pack, because everybody has a place in a pack, right? And that's why the wolf is different than a dog, because wolves, they work in a pack. There's a hierarchy, but the person who follows up, the last one in the pack, has just as much need in the pack as someone who's the leader, because they don't want anybody to fall behind. They keep everybody going at the same pace. Okay. So then you have the cougar, you have something that can be watchful, not always needing to interact, right? How cougar, they just sit there on a tree and they just watch. And then they're pounce when time's ready to pounce, right? They also have instincts. So I always call them my cat whiskers. when I'm kind of getting a feel for what's going on in the world right now. And so you can use whiskers for that knowing of what's going on around you. You know how they like cats can go through skinny places because their whiskers can go through it. So it's that idea. So knowing, and also they have amazing eyesight. And then the mouse pops in. I have hawk as a totem and mouse as a totem. Hawk is for the greater vision. You know, they go, they're one of the highest hunters, right? And so with that they see, but they don't see details. Mouse sees what's in front of them. They don't have great eyesight, so they use their instincts, they use their smeller, they use their eyes, and they see exactly what's going on inside of them. That's why sometimes I can see a ladybug and a hawk flying here, you know, a ladybug right in front of me and a hawk way out, because I'm seeing what's in front of me at the same time I'm seeing what's around or in the a bigger picture.
Very interesting.
So with that when you use mouse, you get the ability to notice, oh, there's a spot on the table, where maybe if you're getting the bigger vision of a hawk, you wouldn't notice that, you know, you needed to watch where you're walking. You know, because you're getting the bigger vision. So with that you use all of those, you become more balanced in who you are. Mouse is one of those things that you have to be careful about being the prey. You know, that you know, mouse gets eaten a lot, you know, so you have to be careful about watching your back, which helps a lot with spirituality. When you're working into your spirituality, like for me, I use a bubble of love around me for my protection. Yet at the same time, though, right now, spirit is being really strong. And I was feeling really weird last week, and I had too many attachments on me. So I asked for tougher love to come in, tough love, to say, no, not in my house. But did it with kindness, did it with, you know, because if you want a spirit that needs help, you don't want to shoo them away, but you want to say, wait till she's ready for you, please. You know, so you there's ways to manage a lot of these different things, if that makes sense.
Well, you saw a lot of different characters, and as much as I would like to admit it, the only one that I recognized was the mouse. The eagle or the hawk and the cougar and the wolf, I never see them. Maybe they're there and I just don't know what I'm looking for.
You don't have to see them. And I don't see hawk around you. I see the cougar, the wolf, and the mouse. The cougar just pops in once in a while for you, when you're needing something to have, to be able to see that when should I pounce feeling.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
And wolf is more is more of a guide for you.
Okay.
He sits with you. He's one that helps you interact with other people. He's the one that helps you. He's also one of your protectors.
Okay.
So if you're noticing somebody is not quite right to be around, you start feeling this like, and that's him speaking to you. Okay. That's how our totems work with us, is that they can help us work through some of the things that are going on around us.
Okay, makes sense.
So the mouse would help her to be a good producer then, wouldn't it?
It would. Details.
Because she sees details. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good detail. Do you find yourself being a pretty good detail person, Kate?
I am very good at it when I'm taking care of other people, but for myself, I'm really bad.
Oh yeah.
And that's why sometimes a totem will start saying, please find out about me. Like you started getting an inkling, what is my totem? What is my totem? Because of the fact that that's those times when it, instead of it being outside of us, it starts becoming inside of us. And so now you'll be having a little bit different perspective about how to be more aware of, I'm getting kind of tired, am I? Detail. I maybe need to go take a walk for a few minutes to get a fresher mind. You know, so you kind of can do those things that help manage yourself a little bit better. And as we're going through this, we've been going through a lot of energy, and this energy coming up into the Halloween, it's going to be huge. So with that you're going to want to take care of you. If you're tired, go to bed a little earlier. If you wake up in the middle of the night, try to do a meditative state instead of struggling to go back to sleep. Do something that's more restful is what I do. That a lot of times when I'm waking up, I go, okay, brain, you're turning on. I understand. Let me just rest. And I kind of put myself in a meditative state, and then I'm not as tired when I wake up in the morning.
I try really hard to do that, but it is so difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
If I get to bed before 3 o'clock in the morning any night, it's a shock.
Well, there's some of us that are just night people. Regan's the same way. I'm the same way.
I'm
I'm
night.
usually one, I'm struggling going to bed at 11. The thing is, though, that I've been starting to wake up at a certain hour. So even if I go to bed and read for 3 hours, that's my restful time to get myself, at least I'm not up moving.
Well, thank you for making me feel less guilty about being awake that time of night.
Yeah. And I have a thing that I do where I do also a healing technique and if you wake up at a certain time, that usually means our organs are kind of off at a certain time. And then if we kind of work with those organs and get those a little healthier, then we can move that rhythm to a little bit later. So if you have a hard time going to sleep or you keep waking up at a certain time, that's usually a certain organ that's struggling.
Okay. So
out of balance.
Not just biorhythms.
It can't, there's a little bit of, it's like a hand. You can't grab onto anything without a thumb. You can't point at anything without a finger. You can't be mad at anything without it's like, but it's helpful to have all of them to grab onto life.
Sure.
And without a palm, you wouldn't have it. So there's a little bit of everything into everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way I work with life. There's numerology, there's intuitiveness, there's astrology, there's healing techniques. There's all these bucket things that helps
That's
with everything.
true.
That's why you see so much around me, because it's not one story.
Well, I can appreciate that, because when people come around me, if my mood changes, they should know why, but typically they don't. Because I am such a weird empath that when I walk into a room, if there's more than 2 or 3 people, I feel like I'm being hammered.
Mm-hmm.
There's too much emotion in the room, and it causes me so much anxiety that sometimes I can't breathe. I just have to leave the room before I can go in again.
And a lot of people,
everything from everybody.
Yes. And there are so many people that believe that deal with this. And that's why I feel like that a lot of our young ones, especially, are committing suicide, is because they're so overwhelmed with the energies of this land.
Yes.
And if they could just talk to someone, they wouldn't feel it. That's why I put the divine energies of love. I call it the rainbow of love. I picture a divine rainbow coming around me and all those colors. And in that is love. And that puts around me. I put that so that everything that gets to me and through that love is filtered.
Mm-hmm.
And I call it divine love because it's not my love. It's not human love. It's the love that an animal gives you. It's that love of a rainbow. It's the love of that divine music that you hear that just gives you chills everywhere. It's that kind of energy.
Yeah, it's just an overwhelming feeling.
Yes. And so with that when you put that divine love around, also too, I can see that you being intuitive, you work through your third chakra, or you work through these third chakras. And many of us who do that, we take on so much that we don't know. It's almost like a funnel.
Mm-hmm. It is very much so.
And so, like when I'm at a funeral, a lot of times I'll put a purse, or I'll put my hand, not crossing my arms, but because I don't want to cross off anybody, but I put my hands on my belly so that it blocks that funnel coming in. And so what you can do is you can ask for that chakra to, instead of being a garden hose, or a fire hydrant.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. that you just ask for that energy to come down, to be imbalanced with your body. Just make it a disclosure. I'm asking for that energy to flow down and be with my body. I do that with when I get too much coming this way and I get headaches. I ask for it to come down. So Regan, you were going to say something?
Well, when you are in a room full of people, do you already know where where specifically do you feel it in your body? Where does it manifest the feeling?
Well, usually when I walk into a room, I'll look around and see the faces of everyone there. But there are some people that I sense immediately that this couple's having an argument. They're not happy with each other, or this person doesn't feel well, or this person thinks this much of themselves, or this person is belittling someone else. These are all things that I feel. And the strongest one is the one that hits me first when I walk in the door, whatever that might be.
But where in your body, where do you feel it? I mean, do you get it in your gut, or do you get a headache, or do you get? Well,
it's usually right here.
Solar plexus?
Right in my stomach. So next to my heart, I'll start feeling pressure.
Okay.
And then it goes to my stomach, or I'll feel it around my arms. But I feel it most right here.
Okay. And now, Natasha, you knowing that in a way where she's doing that, I'm just thinking, like, I'm always looking in practical terms. So I'm picturing Kate opening a door, and she sees all these people, and now she's more cognizant of everything, like having a session with you. So now she knows to have a technique to deal with it, because maybe it's a party where she wants to be. It's an important thing, and she knows she can't just walk out. So she's going to have to deal with it. How would you tell her?
And you're right, Regan. You're spot on.
So I got the rainbow thing. So would she just picture this colored rainbow going over her body, and then to direct it, like, let's say she's feeling it right up here in the chest area. Were you telling her that there's a way to redirect that energy so it doesn't penetrate her so much besides the rainbow? What could she do?
That's the joy of honoring and believing. That's the key. Now, I work in elementary school. Talk about energy. I walk into a second grade class that there's 4 throwing a fit at one time. Okay, I understand energy.
I admire you. I can't do that.
I used to run a lunchroom of 100 kids. I understand energy. Okay, so with that when you have that filter of love, now think of, like, have you ever seen yeah, I know, Michael, you're heating me up. I'm getting hot. Archangel Michael's here with me. That you see the mandala of Mary, and how there's, like, usually in a picture she has these like
colors all over, like auras all over her.
All over her. Okay, so this rainbow of love can go out as far as you want it to. And it's as thick as you can. It's thicker than something that's solid. And anything that comes through that gets filtered through love. What happens when things get filtered through love? It changes. It changes to its greater good. And it doesn't have to come through you. That's the misnomer that people always say, just let it come through you. Let it come through the love, and the love deflects it around. I get the knowledge from it, but I don't need anything else. And when you're working through that, and I make a disclaimer, my team, my guides, I'm not going to remember to put love on every morning. You just make it clear that it's there all the time. Okay. And I believe it. I believe it. And that's the truth. I mean, you have to believe that you are protected. Now, I just said that I had some entities on me. Well, yeah, because I was feeling a little bit discombobulated myself. And so my own energies kind of let them through. And right now, spirit, it's like swimming through. It's swimming through a thick pool. It's not easy. And so with that when I come out now, I usually ring a bell, or I smudge myself, I do certain things that that will help clear the energy around me. When we're intuitive, we're almost like open books. Sometimes we need to just say, my book is closed. And that's part of your sensing those things. Remember how I said how you have Cougar, the cat, and you work with Mouse? That's how Cougar and cat and the mouse work with you, that you notice these small details. But the thing about being intuitive is we don't have to take it on. I can get a sense of that here. I don't need to get a sense of it here.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I can get a sense of it out here. And that's practice makes better. That's, oh, I'm observing. That's where I'm saying to myself, I observe that these couples have a fight. Not I have to feel that they have a fight. I'm observing that
it's really hard to control, because
I'm interrupting you with that.
Okay.
Because this is where we're in this moment of life of belief systems. What are we believing? Is it hard to control? Do we have to control it? I'm saying no. I'm saying my team, my guides, we all have them. We all have angels. We all have guides. Do the work for me. I do not need to, like when I see a car wreck, do you think that I'm in the car wreck seeing all the blood and guts and the head chopped off? No. I'm seeing that I'm walking by it, seeing oh, that was not good. And I'm moving forward.
Well, that's what my consciousness tells me, but that's not what my subconscious is telling me.
Because your body.
My heart immediately feels for those people that are in that vehicle, or if someone is hurt, or the child, or whatever. It's almost like I can drive by it and somebody saw me, It was like there was a connection. And I don't like feeling that way. It makes me very uncomfortable.
Okay, so many of us.
Because I can't do anything.
Yes. So many of us have been taught to send ourselves to a situation. I send my love. I send my heart to you. My heart aches for you. My body just hurts for you. We send ourselves places. You know what I say? I send my love. I send my gratitude. I send my wisdom to you. I send the wisdom to you. I send love to you. I
usually say a prayer. So that's, very similar.
It's the same idea. Same idea. So it's that detaching, and it's practice makes better. Because we've been taught well. Your heart has been taught well to react first. You've done this since childhood.
Yes.
So your heart, your body has done well practicing this. So that there again is that practice of, that's why I take a breath sometimes before I get out of the car. That's why sometimes I take a breath before I open up the door. That's why sometimes I take a breath when I walk out of a door.
It's interesting. I've noticed myself doing that, but never knew why.
But that's that preparation that can happen when we're moving forward. And so prepping, I had some kids that they would just get this wall of energy that they'd walk through, and I would be with them and I would see them. And I said, remember, we're walking into energy. You're safe. You're fine. But remember, there is energy in there. But remember, yours is yours. Mine is mine. What stands between me is you is love. Put your bubble. Let's put a bubble around you. Let's just put a bubble around you. And they'd be able to walk in that room, because I would say about putting a bubble around them. What is the color you want today of your bubble? Basically, the bubble of love. And so with that it's just that practicing of, do I have to take this on? It's a redefining of who we are, what we're doing. And it's that, do I really need to take it on in my body?
Yeah, I have to keep remembering. I say this to myself all the time. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Go away
Yeah.
from it. Go away.
Mhm. Okay.
Because I can't
So
fix
I'm
it.
going to
I can't
offer you.
control it.
Mhm. I'm going to offer something else to you. I am done taking on other people's crap.
That's real direct.
Well, and I have to be with me, because if I'm not, then who am I kidding?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So I use the word, like when I'm rewriting my contract, I'm done, I'm receiving. I'm done. And I write, I am done, like I'm saying, I am done with whatever.
Yep.
So I am done with my body taking on other people's energies.
I never realized that I did all that until an ex-roommate that I had, who, there was a neighbor going by one day, and she offered to do something. And I just kind of hesitated before I said anything. And the roommate says, she just doesn't know how to say no. And I thought, okay, that was rude. So,
But telling.
yeah, totally. I mean, it woke me up. Okay, apparently I don't know how to say no, and it's time I started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I do that with people in therapy all the time. One of the biggest things people have when they come in and they have issues is because they haven't set that boundary of being
Mhm.
able to say no, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I used to be, always wanted, cause I always wanted to please people, I would say yes to everything, and
Oh, yeah,
now,
you want everyone to be happy. You
yeah,
don't want conflict.
right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't like conflict. It doesn't work well with me.
No.
Me
Now,
neither.
okay, now I'm gonna another thing too, and Kate, write this down because you'll find some videos. If you have a pen handy there.
I do.
Okay, go to YouTube and write down. I'll spell it for you because it's a weird word. It's called Ho'oponopono.
Mhm.
It's Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono.
Okay.
And okay.
Ho'oponopono.
Yeah. Now here's an interesting thing. This was. I'll try to make the story short here because I want this to help with some other things too. But this has helped me a lot and a lot of my clients because I teach them this, and it's fun to do. And when you
Okay.
get in the practice of doing this, you'll find your day being so much more joyful and so much more detached from things,
Mhm.
allowing you to be more of yourself. Okay. This is taught by the shaman in Hawaii, and they've taught it for thousands or hundreds of years. A lot goes way, way back.
Yeah.
The psychology behind it is that everybody you run into during the day, all those people in that room when you walked in, those couple that are having having not being good with each other, and everybody else's feelings that you felt are also somehow part of you or your past experience from other lifetimes or something. In other words, you're not seeing them by accident. That somehow they're
No,
part
and
of
I
your
agree with
universe.
that.
Okay, so because you don't know what
Really bad.
Or someone else's internet, because it's both of
Okay.
you are both of you
maybe
are
because I'm
glitching for a
moving
minute.
around. So
Okay.
the four phrases you say, or the four sentences, real quick, as you're walking by people, you say, "I love you, thank you, please forgive me, I'm sorry." Those
Mhm.
cover all of the different angles of what you could have done wrong or right in another relationship and why these people are there. So it's like, "I love you, thank you, please forgive me, I'm sorry." And when you say those, say it genuinely. Because think about it, when you say those four sentences, when you're you're in the best part of it, that's sorry, but you really, that's big, you say I love you, or please forgive me, you don't know what this is. Well, there's a whole book on this. And the psychiatrist was studying this from John. It's a mental institution, and because he knew this process when he got hired there, and the first process that he wanted to take the job, even because they said, "Well, I know you came in to get this job, but nobody lasts very long here because this place He says, we have 8 instances of violence a day. We have a hard time keeping staff because this place is so negative. We can't paint the walls because the paint starts chipping right off the walls. I mean, it was that bad of a place. So what he did, knowing this process, he sat in his office, and for 2 years, he never saw one person in his office, but he had their files, and he would look at the file of each person, and he would know that somehow he's there because this person in the mental institution had some kind of connection to something he needed to learn and they needed to learn. So he would look at each picture, and he would look at them, and he'd say, I love you, thank you, please forgive me, I'm sorry. And he would go on to the next one, the next one. Well, after 2 years, the bosses got word of this, and they said, we're going to fire this guy. He's had his office for 2 years. He's never seen anybody. The nurses says, no, you don't. And there's a book, and there's letters that are in the book that the nurses wrote to the higher ups. And they said, don't you dare fire this guy. When he came here 2 years ago, we had 8 instances of violence. It's rare anymore that we have any violence here. He says some of the prisoners that were in here for criminal things went before the judge and said, yep, I did it, judge. They were even planning their own field trips and stuff now. They had to close one wing of the hospital because people got better, because he taught the nurses how to do this, and they taught all the inmates how to do it. So people were going around the whole day. I love you. Thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. And she says,
I'd like to have seen that.
Yeah, it's all. He documented all of this, and there's a book about it, and so this Ho'oponopono is spreading the world right now because it's a technique so that you don't, in other words, you're saying, let's heal the universe because we don't know what all of our things is. So let's just be sorry for what we did. Let's love who we did. Let's thank people for the good that they did. And so if you're at the party and you're doing this, the first thing that'll help you is it takes your mind off of going down the rabbit hole with all this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like Natasha said with the rainbow. You're putting this rainbow of love around you and doing the Ho'oponopono. So if you did that and thought about this beautiful rainbow, and you thought, and as you walk by, you can say, I hope you guys work it out to yourself. They'll work it out, and boom, boom, boom. But I'm not taking it on. It gets to be fun because I know sometimes when I've had a clerk that's been giving me that I want to punch in the mouth because they're being so rude, then I'll realize, wait a minute, that rudeness is part of me. So I'll say under my breath, I love you, thank you, please give me sorry. I'll walk out of there and I'll feel fine. And all of a sudden, but anyway, that's just a simple little technique, but I know that it works. And thousands of people now are getting on the bandwagon here, and it's just a beautiful thing to do. Even if you only do one of those sentences, I love you. I love you. You're walking in,
It does change it. It does change it. And like my mantra is, I'm asking for healing on this. I'm asking for healing on this. And that just changes the whole vibration of everything. Because there is a part of you that has believed that you have to take things on. So it's asking for healing on that part of you that is believing. And it a lot of times it's just something of a conversation we heard when we were a kid and we were in the other room and we just heard it and we just took on this, well, I got to fix everybody, don't I? Or whatever that belief system is. And not necessarily in that language, but in that intention, And so when we take that on, then as adults, we wonder why we can't get rid of weight, because we've learned to protect ourselves by having weight, or a lot of us have been told to stuff it. Don't speak as a kid, don't talk as a kid, and we've stuffed it. Well, what did we stuff? We stuffed all that energy, and it's blown up in our tummies. And so with that it's that navigation of believing that I'm done taking on other people's stuff. I'm just done with it. I can tell you, I can help the situation when I don't have it with me, when I'm free from having it with me. So I'm going to observe it at a distance using the cat, using the cat's eyes. I'm observing at a distance so that I can get a sense of it and it can stay over there. Like I have a mantra, what's yours is yours, what's mine is mine, what stands between us is whatever. It could be color, it could be love, it could be an angel, it could be my guardian, whoever, my gatekeeper, whoever it is, to do that.
Wow.
And I can tell you that there's still sticky things that happen, don't get me wrong, But I can tell you, in all the years that I've worked in school, I can count my sticky times on one hand.
That's good.
And it's practice made better. I was not always this person.
And, you know, Kate, also, too, I mean, just good old prayer. Like, when I was on the other side, because the hours I spent, you know, as talk about on your show, when I was coming back and I saw the earth down below, all of a sudden I knew I had to make a decision. Did I want to do this kind of work that I'm doing? And my guide that was next to me, there, Bizarre was his name. He says, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I said the F word. That was right. I said, "Yeah, yes, I want to do it." And I thought that was funny because here I am in heaven, like, and I said the F word. But I was excited about it, you know. But then, as we started getting closer to the earth, all of a sudden, I started having all these awful feelings. I was feeling all this pain and all this emotional stuff. So he stopped me again. He says, "You're starting to feel what you're going to feel when you go back down there and you start working with people." And he stopped me and he said, "If you want to do this work, there's 4 things that you have to do or your physical body will get sick and you'll die." He just told me right out, because your body can only
And that's
handle
what
so much.
happened.
Right. And so it's just like you're talking about, Kate. That's why I could empathize with you some, that I could feel those feelings like that. I feel them from the earth. So this might help you too. Okay. One of the things he said, as you wake up in the morning, connect yourself with the other side. In other words, just, even if you don't know exactly how, just kind of look up and say, okay, I know a guide. I know my spirit animals are here. Let's work together today for the good of all. Just even that, it puts you on the right foot during the day. And then, and he gave me a prayer, and it started out by, "Bless this day and those I serve, as I keep one foot in heaven and one foot planted firmly on earth to accomplish my mission of kindness." Okay, because I found out when I was over there that I'm embodied in this lifetime to concentrate on being kind, you know. And I'm doing pretty good, but it's you know, like I say, kindness is love with work boots on. It takes, you know, it takes effort to be kind. It doesn't come natural for a lot of us. Okay, the third thing you said to do was spend more time in nature, and and then the other thing he said to do was to do he said, do as many random acts of kindness as you can, even if it's to smile at a clerk that you wouldn't ordinarily smile at, or a person you walk by, smile, or pick up a piece of trash that's not yours or something. And these little acts of kindness that you can balance out there in the day, so that you don't go to the negative side, you know, in that way.
Right.
And then the other thing he said was to talk to other therapists and find out how do they ground themselves. You know, because therapists, psychiatrists have a very high suicide rate, you know, and it's because,
well, if I would think so. If you have to listen to that all day long, you'd be
all
pretty
day
depressed
long.
when you got home.
Yeah. And I have to like you sometimes, Kate. I mean, I'm crying with my clients sometimes. I can't help it because of the stuff they've gone through. But I've learned, at least quick after that, to just kind of shake it off, to like just feel this beautiful energy coming through, you know, from above through myself into the ground, like way deep into the earth, and take everything. So there's different ways to do it, but hopefully today this will give you, in other words, what we're talking about today, give you some hints that you're not stuck. You're not stuck with walking in a room and having to walk out feeling horrible.
Just doing all, you know,
you know,
and that's the beliefs. It's not necessarily a spiritual belief system, but it's that belief system of saying, I'm done taking everybody else's stuff. It's that boundary. And, you know, I can care, I can give love, I can do all that. I don't have to give myself to these people. But and I bet you, doing astrology that I have awareness to, there's something called human design. And in our human design, they're like chakras. And not everybody has every chakra open in this human design. I'm seeing if I can grab it real quick, but I don't have it with me. That there's different spots. So like, for instance, for me, I have all mine full except for my upper one, which means that I get a lot of inspiration by other people's thinkings. Now, my husband has everything from basically his heart chakra empty. So I can tell you when he's been around a bunch of angry people because he's angry. You know,
it happens.
Yeah. Or he's dead tired because he's been around people who are tired. You know, and so with that, and I can tell when he drains my energy because of me being full and
Mhm.
him being empty, you know, and it's a metaphor, and there's more to this story. This is like a short little burge in a big long
Mhm.
conversation. So when we know those things, like for me, him stifling off of me, I can now know, okay, wait a minute. He's not stifling off of me. He's stifling off the love that I have around me. And that love can filter for him. I'm staying me. That filter can be him. That love filter can be for him. And so with that, that acknowledgement of of oh, wait a minute. Now I have awareness to do this differently. You know, and that it's a belief system. If you believe still that you're going to take on everybody's stuff, that you have to drive by a car crash and really care about them, or can you send an angel and do the work for you because you physically can't?
Wow.
Yeah. There's
Okay.
You know what I
and
mean? It's
there's
a
a
belief system.
yeah. There's
Okay.
a saying too that's real simple to say, Kate. Too. If you're going by an exercise, something like that, just say, "May the blessings be." And what you're
Mhm.
doing is you're just saying, "Okay, universe, I'm sending my love. Here's my 2 cents of love in with the universes." And you just kind of go, "I have to do that." I realize I do that without even thinking about it now. When I go by an
Mhm.
accident, I just say, "May the blessings be." There's a Sanskrit term. It's like Baraka Bashad, but it means "May the blessings be." That
Mhm.
way, and it's just a way of sending an angel or doing that too. Now, Kate
Mhm.
also realized, because you have this giant heart and you have all this capacity to be empathetic with people and to fill all that in. But since you have that much, you have on the other 180 degrees of that circle, that means you have a huge, huge degree of love in you. In other words,
Mhm.
you've got this bushels and bushels of love. You've got this bushels and bushels that can take in everybody's presence. So before you walk in, like before you walk into the next party you go to, it's going to be that. As you're at the door, you could do a spiritual exercise, and you can say, okay, I'm going to make the choice in there to go in and just to give out love to everybody, and I'm going to let
So
everybody
it's
just,
going out, not coming in.
yeah, yeah. In other words, so you're putting the love out, because as
Okay.
you're putting this love out, that other stuff can't come in. You
Yeah,
know.
Keeping my
exactly.
own
It's
board.
a one-way road.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
practice this going into grocery stores. Practice this going into any place you go into, that you're practicing. And thank you for bringing this acknowledgement, because I've kind of gotten out of habit with this vertigo thing, that of doing this at school, that it is about being whatever you want to be. If you're going to be the victim, that's what you're going to be. If you're going to be the one that has love for everybody,
Mhm.
and it's not your love, otherwise your battery is going to go in a minute. It's the divine love. People always wonder when I'm doing a fair and it goes from 9 to 5 that I look the same way at the beginning as I do at the end. And and with that as we go forward, I use divine love
Mhm.
for people. I don't use me. Now, I may be tired 3 or 4 hours later because it's been a long day. My body didn't take the vitamins that it needed. I didn't get the nourishment that I needed. I didn't drink as much water as I needed. But yet at the same time, though, that tired isn't like somebody piled on me. It's
Mhm.
because I've just used my battery a little bit longer. So, Veronica, can you maybe be clear about what do you say? Um, for who? We've said a lot in the show.
Yeah, we did a lot. Well, I think, Veronica, I think the thing is that because our subconscious is programmed to be a certain way, it's just going to take a little bit of effort, not a lot, because you just do a little bit here and a little bit here. But if you do it
Mhm.
Practice
constantly,
makes better.
you're going to
Mhm.
reprogram your subconscious so that when you walk in a room, after a while, you won't even think about going to the downside. You'll just walk in there and say, I'm going to light up this room with all the love I'm giving
Mhm.
out. And then you won't go there, or if you start to feel that way, you can do the Ho'oponopono. I love you, thank you, please forgive me, I'm sorry, because you're
Mhm.
feeling that feeling. So it has something to do with you, and you want to balance it out by saying, I love you, thank you, please forgive me, I'm sorry. I love you, thank you, please forgive me, I'm sorry. Or just I love you, something like that. But you want to make and so create in your mind that doorway, when you get to the door and you have that doorway, just think of it, it's like you're walking through, and as you're walking through, you're changing your perspective to the love, And so if you do this for a while, do it under every doorway you walk through, like in stores, when you're doing it at your house for a while. And you can train your subconscious if you do this on and off for about 2 or 3 weeks. You'll be surprised. All of a sudden, you'll be walking in a doorway. You won't give it a thought, and you'll go, oh wow, I'm going. You'll go through, and you'll just turn into a love bug right when you walk through the door.
Yeah, that would be nice. I came
Yeah.
home tonight and felt I was so anxious and so bottled up because of conflicts in emails or conflicts with a host or a guest or,
And that's where I clap around me.
and then all the interruptions on top of all that.
Yeah. So that's where I clamp around me. Or like people use a music bowl. Some people use drums. People use bells. You do those things because that energy just kind of vibrates around us. But you have to shake up the energy, otherwise it gets sticky. And I'm gonna, because we're getting down on time here.
Okay.
That also, instead of saying I want to send energy, just start being. Capital B, capital I, capital ING. Start being love. It doesn't, you don't have to be anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Our divine right is to be love. So being love, we're walking in and we're being love. And that love is going to do the ripple effect that love needs to do. We're not responsible for it. When I walk into a room of kids throwing fits, I'm not responsible for fixing them. I'm asking love to go do the work that it needs to do because it knows better than I.
Yeah, I'm not real good at delegating, so that's hard for me.
So that's where I'm being me, which is love. So when I walk in the room, I can almost tell the teacher goes, because I'm being love. And people go, I just feel so much better when you walk in a room. And I go, yep.
That's funny. I go back to my bedroom and I can close the door and it's like, whew, finally.
Because that's because you've practiced taking on. That's the thing that people believe, that they have to take on other people. All that energy. No. Filter it. Let love filter
I can tell you exactly what happens if I don't learn. And that's when I get angry. I get short-tempered. I don't
because
have
everybody
patience.
else's. It's because of everybody else's.
Like, I'm sorry. I'm so vulnerable that everybody can hop on board, but I'm angry because, one, I allowed myself to be that way, and two, because everybody is doing it. And it's like there were 5 things today that had to get done that technically were really not my issues or my problems, but heaven forbid I had to fix them.
Yep, exactly. So that's where I ask. Energies of love be around me. Help heal the situation. I'm asking for healing on this. That's my quick version. I'm asking for healing on this day, please. I'm just asking for healing. I'm human walking through this process. I'm asking for healing on this. And usually something comes up.
Well, that's good to know. And I am a firm believer in manifestation. So I definitely feel like that's something that can be worked on.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you that being one that I've lived with an alcoholic 21 years out of my 30 years of being married.
Mm-hmm.
He is a depressed, angry man. He's a double Libra. So 2 fire signs with it has to be correct. I'm asking for healing on this. And I can tell you, we're still married and we hold hands.
Well, that's good.
So I practice daily. I'm asking for healing on this. I'm asking for healing for him. I'm asking for healing for the situation. Whatever language you have. I did this when there was riots going on. I'm asking for healing for them, for us as a universe. I send love around the world. I'm asking for healing on this. Whatever needs to be healed. It's not my responsibility. So what it is that practice of the practice of saying, I can help you. Okay. You don't have to come to me. I can help. Love whatever can help you. And it's just that practice making better. And I'm going to tell you, though, that's why I have more than one session with people a lot of times, because it's that checking in with how are we doing? And then the layers come off of why do we believe this? Why do we navigate through this? Why do we have to keep going through the story? Because usually one session, it's the practice to do better. And the layers come off. Oh, I have shame around that, don't I? Oh, yeah. And usually we come through that in the third session, because we've come through so many layers, and those layers make a difference. They make a difference.
I think they do too.
You are, and I can tell you this because we're already 15 minutes over, that you are divine love. And the reason why you believe this is being who you are. There's a difference between a caregiver and a giver of care. I'm not a caregiver. I'm a giver of care. So in other words, instead of being the caregiver who has to always take it on and fix things, I'm a giver of care. It's taking it and it's giving it away. It's giving of service, but it's only giving what I can give.
Well, I've adopted the old saying of I can only do what I can for who I can when I can, and that's all I can.
And I do this with love. Add on one more sentence.
Well said. Well said.
Well, my dear, I hope, Kate, and please stick around for a few minutes after. I do hope that this has helped, and I hope that this has helped many others who are struggling with what you are, because it is about the layers. It's about what we do believe. It is about that we have to, it's that saying, that's an old saying, I give you my heart. My heart goes to you. No, my heart is it needs to pound in my own chest. I give you my love. It's freer, it's cleaner, it's more, it's divine. It's the ability. And I can tell you that doing that process, your body will be healthier. Because I can tell you, just going through this knowledge, that there's a part of you that I can see is more sealed up. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Can you feel it?
Oh, yeah.
Because there's an awareness and a belief system that you have updated. Now it's just you practicing the humanness of it.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so instead of running to your bedroom, when you are in the room, actually that you do your business in, clap, break up the energy, asking for healing, love. Whatever you can do, whatever you want to say. Some people don't have love. I've dealt with many people who can't understand or are struggling with love. So do what you can do. Angels, work on this for me. Dog bark. You know when a dog barks, that vibration, it clears a room. So Wolf, can you clear the room for me? So do those things. I mean, whoa, just dropped my stone. Doing those things that can help you. Oops, there we go. That can help you manage this before you go to your private place of your bedroom. Don't take it to bed with you. How many times have you shooken out your pillow?
Not often enough.
Because how many times do we think at night, and then that energy sits in our pillows? Do you know the other night when there's complications in the house, and that's as far as I'm going to go. I went and I did that over the bed, and I shook out both pillows.
Did you sleep better?
And it was healed the next day.
All right.
Because of the fact that I asked for healing on this, I sent love, and I tried to have an understanding of what was this about me and them, and we just kind of did the work.
Yeah. What I've found from doing this work, having people visit the afterlife and back, is everybody so far that I've had in the last 4 or 5 years now has had a guide, has had someone that's there, and they're just, even if you don't know them particularly yet, and I think maybe someday will do a life between life session or something and actually meet him in person, and you'll be able to see visibly then what he or she
that would be
like
awesome.
And then it makes you feel like they're in the same room with you. You can just say, I had a guide the other day. We said, well, what can she call you? He said, just call me Bob.
They don't
We started
care.
laughing.
I don't care.
No, it
They
was
don't
so
care.
hilarious. It's like, and sometimes they have these fancy. Mine was Be Bizarre, which was very interesting. But there's all kinds of different names. But when you have that realization and it really gets in your heart, then you kind of realize as you're walking around the day, you don't feel alone. You know, like you walk in that room there and you can say, "Hey, Bob, walk in here with me, will you?" And remind me, what's that exercise I'm supposed to do now about love and all that junk? Oh, come on, tell me. All right, all those people having trouble. Okay, here's this rainbow, and I'm giving out love. You know, you get the hang of it after a while. But you have to do something. Like nothing changes unless something changes. So
Exactly.
the way you
Right.
have to change something is by saying, "Okay, I've got this new skill now, and let me practice it." And it gets to be fun to practice it because you start realizing, "Wow, I kind of got through that. Okay, you know." Um, and also, too, in just closing with what I'm saying is EFT. If you look up that on the internet, I could teach you that someday. And that's physically helping to balance the negative energy you have in your body. It gets rid of it. And it reduces your cortisol level, which is your stress hormone, up to 50% in just a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a physical
Oh,
thing you
now
can do too.
I'll do anything for that. Get rid of my weight.
And too, with that, the as we go through this, remember, practice makes better. Sticky notes. I love sticky notes. Today is kindness with love. Today I'm adding on anything that I say with the word of let love be with it. You know, whatever you want to do, add in those sticky notes on your computer. Remember, rainbow.
You know, these are things that we should instinctively know, but when you
Yeah.
forget them, you need to be reminded.
Yeah, shoulda, coulda, woulda, throw that out the door.
Yep.
That's an old belief system. It's about remembering. And
That's
it's just
true.
honoring. And if we're too busy, people are busy now. Put sticky notes. Don't be afraid to put sticky notes. Who can remember everything?
Yeah.
No one I
That's
know.
why I say with a disclosure, guides, angels around me that you know what I got to do in the day. You damn well know you need to protect me about it. And I use that exact language.
And they
Because
don't
I'm
mind a
not
bit.
going to do this alone.
Yeah, they don't care. They're just happy they're being acknowledged.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
Thank you
They
so
want-
much, Natasha. This has
Yeah.
been an experience.
Yeah,
Well,
we've
thank
had
you,
like a
thank
little-
you, thank you.
We've had
So
like a little
with-
spiritual group here today. It's been great.
I like it.
So with this, so we've gone over now about 20 minutes, and we apologize
Okay.
if it kind of got long for somebody. But I just want everyone to know that we are all human going through this process. And Regan, how do people get a hold of you?
It's on the screen there. Visit theafterlife.com. I'm one of the 220 Nuton Institute trained facilitators in 46 countries. And what we do is we help you achieve a deep state of trance, which everybody can, hypnosis. And in that trance, you can easily go to a past life, see yourself pass away, turn around. There's usually a guide or an angel there, and they proceed to give us a tour of heaven for a couple hours. It sounds crazy, but we've had about 65,000 people do it so far, and we're getting the word out there because we want to do lots and lots more. So if I can help you, go to Visit the Afterlife. Some great videos in there. And any questions, you can hold me on the site. There's a couple of the books on there you can request for free. Some of my latest books. And just you request them, I'll send ebook versions to you. And Natasha, how do they get a hold of you?
You can reach me at angelicclarifications.com right there on the screen. I am one. Well, this is kind of a representation of my personal awareness coaching. That I've done a lot of work with intuitiveness, and life puts me in places with grace and ease. I'm going to add that I have to practice a lot of my skills that I talk about. And I can tell you in this last week, everything that we talked about, I have practiced in every facet of my life. My workload, my home load, just things in that. So with that please be aware that life is about navigating the energies of today, and we can only do what we know we can do. Just remember that even if you don't believe in love, or you don't understand the aspects of what divine love is that even if you say the word love, there's something to that. And the wisdom that you come from that it's all healing. It's all healing. So with that, may blessings come to all. And remember that you can catch me on Wednesdays at the same time, 4 o'clock Pacific time, to do life clarifications. And I don't know exactly what I'm going to talk about yet, but it might be something about this. I'm not too sure. We'll see you later. Have blessings in your day. Next Monday at 4 o'clock, you will reach us at this channel. Bye now.